All right, we are live. We are live, and I'm coming at you with five. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good morning here in lovely New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm Gavin Richard. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Gboo2786. This show is Gavin Richard Presents. Welcome to another episode. Getting right into it. This is not going to be a long video, trust me. Now, let me give you all a spoiler alert. I am talking about The Lion King 2019. So if you've never seen The Lion King, you may want to turn this, not come on, not watch this episode. But of course, if you've been sitting, unless you've been sitting under a rock and you're not over the age of 25 and beyond or 30 and beyond, then you saw, or 30 and beyond rather, you probably have seen The Lion King. Remember when the original Lion King came out. I remember when the original Lion King came out in 1994, I believe. I remember my uncle, Charles, taking me and my brother to see it when we were in Houston. I'm sorry, San Antonio for the summer. We were staying at their house, and there was a movie theater not far from there, so that was one of the things we saw while we were over there for, I think we spent like 2 weeks up there. So that was fun on a vacation. I really enjoyed that. So, and I remember seeing The Lion King, and it was a very popular, very uh, critically acclaimed movie at that time, and it was supposedly a original Disney's movie, which was even made it even better. Of course, new information has come out that The Lion King was actually a ripoff of a cartoon in Japan called Kimba the White Lion that I've read and got information on, but as a kid, I never knew anything about that, and I'm not here to talk about that. Still, The Lion King in and of itself, whether it's a copy or not, you still appreciate, excuse me, guys, the work, the cartoon, because that was a part of my youth and my childhood. And of course, the actors that were in the voice cast, you had Mufasa. Mufasa was played by, of course, James Earl Jones. Uh, Simba at that time, the cub, was Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who was there during Home Alone. I'm sorry, during the Home Improvement TV show. And of course, you had Whoopi Goldberg as one of the hyenas. Max Sinclair played Simba's mother. I believe y'all know who Simba. I'm looking it up right now. Hold on a second. Uh, Madge Sinclair was Simba's mother. Nairobi, or if I'm not mistaken, was her name. Yeah. Now, of course, what's interesting is that Madge Sinclair was also James Earl Jones' wife in Coming to America. She played the Queen Meolion, and she actually was Sarabi was Mufasa's mate. Yeah, and she actually was in Roots as John Amos's uh, wife, Belle, the mother of Kizzy. So Kunta Kente's wife. So uh, very interesting how close those actors are all tied. And James Earl Jones was even in Roots. He was in The Next Generation as Alex Haley. Uh, I remember Rowan Atkinson played Zazu. I remember Cheech Marin, Jim Cummings. They were also cast. Nathan Lane was Timon, and Aaron Sabella was Pumbaa. Robert Guillaume, who played Benson, was Rafiki, the baboon who served as the shaman of the Pride Lands. So, of course, now when they did the remake, they brought James Earl Jones back, but most of the actors from the 1990s were 1994 version was replaced by other actors. And Nala at that time was played by Moira Kelly. She played the adult Nala, and uh, the young Nala was played by Nikita Calamy, and Matthew Broderick played Simba. So I remember that. Jason, and of course they had different singers playing for the actors because they didn't have a great singing voice. So Jason Weaver was Simba's singing voice, and Nala's singing voice was uh, Laura Williams. So long story short, not getting off subject, of course, they replaced the actors in the 2019 version for a live and remake, which I didn't think served the purpose. My review getting into didn't change anything. There may have been a few screen rewrites as far as the revelation of how Scar killed Mufasa. There, they changed that up a little bit. Um, of course, Alfred Woodard um, replaced Matt Sinclair's character, Nairobi. I keep getting their names mixed up. Sorry. Sarabi, excuse me, Sarabi. She replaced Sarabi because Matt Sinclair is dead. Beyonce replaced Maura Kelly's role as Nala, and Donald Glover is Simba. James Earl Jones came back, and this is one of the sad things for me was that James Earl Jones' voice was not the same as it was 25 years ago. And of course, James Earl Jones is older, and this Mufasa even seemed like he was old as well. He didn't have the power behind it. When you can hear that bass voice from James Earl Jones when you like you're used to from 20 years ago, when he does the CNN commercials. This is CNN, or Scar, leave him. He was commanding with this one. So, and you can tell it wasn't there. The other thing too, I thought the graphics were great. Now, Seth Rogen, who played Pumbaa, I thought he was great as a voice role. I thought Timon was pretty good. The scene when they did a wean away, if you guys see it, the graphics and everything were realistic. For the most part, the cast performances were great. Beyonce now, I honestly didn't think she was all up to that. And I know the Beehive may come at me, but Beyonce actually sounded like she was waiting to perform with Big Sissy Frida again on stage, Girls Run the World. So I don't know what it was. I thought all Alliance were gonna come out with their doing whatever they do. So I didn't think her voice acting was all that. And I know she's been in Dreamgirls, she's been in Fighting Temptations. She's not really, this is not a knock against her, but she's not known necessarily for being a great actor or actress. Although I did respect her. I thought she did a great job as Etta James in Cadillac Records, which was about in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. So she wasn't that bad. Ernie Sabella played the original Pumbaa. Nathan Lane was Timon. So in this version, in this remake, Seth Rogen played Pumbaa and Billy Eichner played Timon. I think Zazu was John Oliver, if I'm not mistaken. I think that who else was in there? I said Alfred Woodard. Chiwetel Ejiofor played Scar. Now, Chiwetel Ejiofor, if I'm pronouncing his first name correct, was in 12 Years a Slave. I've known him for being in Four Brothers when he played Sweet, the main villain in that movie, and also he was in a few other movies like Salt. He was in Talk to Me About as Dewey Hughes about Petey Green's story. Great actor. I don't think he could hold the candle with Jeremy Irons as Scar, though. I thought, Jeremy Irons commanded that role as Scar. He was, the perfect villain. Even when you hear him sing, Jeremy Irons singing, it was, phenomenal. He made you feel like he was this evil brother to Mufasa that couldn't stand him, his nephew. And to the end of the movie, I thought Mr. Ultrafor's acting was very great. Voice acting was great. I thought in some scenes, but I also thought there were things that just he felt out of place at times. Uh, Now, the original Lion King, I'm looking at this, made nearly $1 billion since in its initial release. On a budget of $45 million, it is estimated box office gross is $968.5 million. Wow. Now, this 2019 film, okay, on a budget of $260 million, has made $595.1 million. So they've already recouped half of their budget. You notice now Disney has not put out any original movies. Everything now is a sequel and remake. Don't you find it interesting? And I'm not talking about the Avengers that they own, because Disney practically has a monopoly over everything, and Marvel Comics that they own that as well. Under the original Disney umbrella, when you watched the Disney movie and you saw the castle come up, you knew it was a special moment. Now it doesn't mean anything anymore because, of course, when I watch these live action remakes like Beauty and the Beast, they of course want to promote, uh, an agenda, the rainbow agenda. I'll just put it that way. You know what I'm talking about. They push all of that. They even pushed it in the Avengers movie. Most of their content, Disney has not been the same. Now, I thought, see, I'm trying to look at the cast too. Who else I had? Shadiah Wright Joseph played the young Nala. She was actually in the Broadway production. Keegan Michael Key, Florence Kasuma, and Eric Andre were the hyenas. Yeah, I thought David Allen Greer was one of the hyenas. He sounded just like him, but he wasn't in there. Well, Phil Lamar from Mad TV, he played Impala. If you remember, Phil Lamar was the guy who was, Dak the UBS guy. Oh, totally cool. So, he's that guy. He also played Michael Jackson. You're crazy. Latoya, how can you do all of these evil things? How can you hurt the children, people of the world? He did stuff like that. He even played Prince too in a parody. So he did Michael and Prince on Mad TV. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson was the original Zazu. I remember that. John Oliver. I remember when Lion King was coming out and the marketing behind it. A lot of people that were excited. It was big when it came out because it was this new Disney production and supposedly an original story. So overall, I didn't think it lived up to expectations. I thought that it was okay. I didn't think anything was special about it. And even when I was walking out the movie theater, there was a guy walking out. He was like, "Man, I could have just stuck with the cartoon. I didn't need all of this stuff." So there were people that felt that way. Even my dad and I were saying that it was good, but the cartoon was better. So you guys want to go see it, go see it. But just letting you know, don't go there with expectations high. Everything, the acting and so forth, for the most part was good, but nothing really changed. And if you're expecting big changes, then you will be disappointed. So that's it for me. Oh, and just one more thing. The young Simba was played by Jide McCarry. So Donald Glover was Simba, of course. So, yeah. And the movie was actually longer than the original movie. It was like a 2-hour movie. So That was interesting. So, all right. Well, that's it for me, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll do another episode shortly, probably tomorrow about new stuff. But you guys take it easy and have a good night.